Welcome to Project U 2.2, where we don't quit, we don't coast, and we don't surrender. My mission is to help you reclaim your clarity, your confidence, and your endurance in life, leadership, and everything in between. On Wednesday, Carrie gave us such a powerful reminder about comparison, how comparison sneaks in and steals our spark. She called it comparison detox, and she's right. Comparison doesn't just show up on Instagram. It shows up in our deer stands, in our classrooms, our offices, and unfortunately, even in our own homes and around the kitchen table. Carrie, you brought humor, truth, and hope, and I'm grateful to pick it up here on Friday with a little different perspective. This past Wednesday here in Michigan, October 1st, it's the beginning of the deer hunting archery season. So let me take you back a few years ago to the first Saturday in November of 2022. A massive cold front had pushed through the night before. Temperatures dropped from the 60s down into the 20s. The wind howled and the rut, it was in full force. Every hunter knew it was the kind of morning that could produce that once-in-a-lifetime buck. Our neighbors' trail cameras had confirmed it. There was a giant buck in the area. The kind of buck you don't just talk about for the season, but for a lifetime. And at daybreak, I heard it, that deep bass grunt. Any seasoned hunter knows it. A mature buck. But was it him? And minutes later, I caught the movement. There were does that were grazing around on a major deer runway to my left. And then I saw it, a glimpse. My pulse quickened, and I knew it was the giant. Slowly, I reached for my bow, heart pounding so hard it echoed in my ears. I took my typical 10 to 12 deep breaths to calm myself down. And as he turned onto the runway, I predicted his line of path. I shifted into position, and I had my bow ready for the shot. And just as I envisioned, he walked right into my shooting lane. And in that moment, all the hours of practice, patience, and preparation, it all came together. I released my arrow, and it flew true. 40 yards later, I watched in awe my trophy buck of a lifetime fall. But I didn't go running to see him. Not yet, at least. I wanted to share that moment with my dad, who was back at camp. So I hopped in the Ranger and I flew back to the clubhouse, calling my dad, waking him from sleep. Dad, we've got to go. I just shot the buck of my lifetime. Well, that morning, it became a memory he and I will never forget. A father and son standing over a buck of a lifetime. Later, the taxidermist told me it was the largest bow harvest in the county for as long as he could remember. It scored about 168 inches. That's a dandy. But here's the lesson. The real trophy, it wasn't the rack. It was the endurance, the patience, the practice, the planning, the willingness to sit through cold fronts and long hours of waiting. That's the detox from comparison. The joy wasn't in proving it was bigger than someone else's buck or trophy. The joy was in the endurance that made the moment possible. And so now let me take you from the deer stand to the superintendent's chair. I've walked through other districts' facilities, and I've felt that tug of comparison. Shiny new classrooms, polished athletic fields, turf fields, the latest and the greatest technology, artificial intelligence robots, HVAC systems with perfect climate control. Furniture, flooring, bathrooms, all state-of-the-art, maintained with precision and care. And my brain whispers, Greg, are you providing enough for your district? Greg, do your students deserve better? How are you measuring up? That's the same trap, it's just in a different setting. And during my first superintendency, I was part of a 3-phase facility plan at the beginning stages that invested nearly $100 million in bond funds to completely update and enhance 4 aging elementary schools. With approval by the community voters, the district didn't just patch them. The district converted them into modern, inspiring learning environments. In addition, a turf field was installed, not for bragging rights, but so student athletes could train and compete in all conditions year-round. And now in my current superintendency, we recently converted an aging high school into a remodeled state-of-the-art facility. Now, it's not flashy like a brand new GMC Denali. It's more like a Ford F-150, built tough. Not unnecessary bells and whistles, but pristine, dependable, and very reliable. A place that says to students and staff, you matter. Your learning matters. This community cares. And so here's the lesson. Leadership isn't about comparing our facilities to someone else's. It's about stewarding what we've been entrusted with, maintaining spaces with care, improving step by step, and remembering that growth happens when we invest wisely and endure faithfully. Neuroscience tells us that when we get trapped in comparison, our brain's default mode network fires up and it loops doubts in our mind, draining and sucking energy. Psychology reminds us that unchecked, this becomes the imposter syndrome. But endurance is the antidote. Endurance shifts the focus from what others have to what we are building faithfully right here. Here's the principle. Endurance isn't about outlasting the district next door or keeping up with the neighbor next door. It isn't about hanging the biggest rack on the wall. Endurance is about showing up again and again for your own race. Comparison, it subtracts. Endurance, it multiplies. And Carrie reminded us on Wednesday, comparison is the thief of joy. And I'll add this, endurance is the builder of joy. When you run your own race, hunt your own hunt, lead your own people, focus on your own family, you rediscover the spark that comparison tried to steal. This isn't just about hunting or leadership. We all live it. Watching a coworker that gets promoted and then questioning our own worth. Seeing another married couple's highlight reel on social media and then doubting our own marriage. How about comparing your workout to the next guy or the next lady in the gym? Scrolling social media until you're completely drained. That's the brain's negativity bias at work. Magnifying what we lack instead of celebrating what we have. But gratitude, practiced daily, literally rewires the brain. Gratitude, it fuels the endurance. And here are 4 tools to put into practice this week. Number 1, catch the thought. Label it. That's comparison talking. Number 2, reframe to admiration. Instead of envy, what can I learn here? 3, action over envy. Take one step in your own lane today. And 4, celebrate your hunt. Write down 3 wins each evening. And the challenge, here's the Project U 2.2 challenge for the weekend. Write down one moment where you caught yourself comparing. Reframe it into admiration and action. What can I learn? What can I do? And celebrate one of your own wins, whether it's big or small, and write it down. Share it with somebody that you trust or care about, somebody that loves you. Do this for 3 days. I guarantee you by Sunday night, you'll notice your energy has shifted. Comparison, it steals joy. Endurance builds it. This has been Project U 2.2, where we don't quit, we don't coast, and we don't surrender. If you are ready to reclaim your clarity, your confidence, and your endurance, head over to projectu22.org to learn more about our one-on-one coaching, couples coaching, and our retreats. And don't forget, every Wednesday at 6:22 a.m., Carrie brings her own powerful perspective for women, faith, and growth. So until next time, stay strong, stay real, and keep living with endurance. See you at 622.